And we have returned once again to sit with one another and talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. That DFF was fun, yeah. It was good times. And of course it's fun, so immediately YouTube tagged it. The Kirks are dead, as far as I know. I called over there and I got no answer. Pretty sure that Gorilla killed them both. And look, I tried to fucking warn them. I tried to warn them, but they didn't listen. It's the law of the wild. Advice for a 22-year-old feeling hopeless lately. Abandon the need to feel hope in your life and realize that your life, like everybody else's, is just a brief flicker of struggle, and realize that it is what you can make of it. Give up on the concept of like, man, I hope things are gonna be okay, because they're not. And pick up the idea of, hey man, it's my life and it's now or never. I don't want to live forever, you know? Get a little fucking Bon Jovi in there. Get a little Bon Jovi. Praise be to who? You wanna rethink that comment real quick? You realize whose stream you're in? Praise be to who? No Godzilla lovers up in here, man. We don't do that shit. We don't play that shit. Yeah, you spelled King Kong wrong. Pick up some stoic values. Only focus on what you have control over. Let the things you can't control dissipate from your mind as best you can. This will take time, but you'll get there. I mean, there are a number of like philosophical routes you could take towards, feeling a little better about being hopeless. Stoicism is one of them. You could look into some of the Eastern meditative philosophies. A lot of those focus on the grounding of yourself and the centering of yourself in present time, and the letting of your mind to go free and to be free of worry, and training yourself to do that. There's a number of things that you could do. But I think that just a change of outlook and a change of perspective has been the best for me when I'm feeling that way. Hello, Lord of Duck. Hello, Asbestos Fingers. We got a fucking sniper crew out there tonight. Yeah, I imagine. If you're from Boulder, you're shook. It's horrible shit. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's like America is ripping itself apart at the seams. If it's not the pandemic killing unprecedented numbers of people, it's us in the streets fucking killing each other en masse. And it just seems like it's going to happen and happen and happen and happen. And politicians are going to make overtures towards fixing it. It made me sick today. I went online and I was looking at, the trending hashtag or whatever the fuck about Boulder. And all these fucking politicians are chiming in, going like, we have to do something about this. And all I can think of is, You guys may not have seen it, but that movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall, there's this what's that fucking guy's name? The big lanky dude. Oh my god. He plays the rock star in that Forgetting Sarah Marshall movie. What's that fucking big lanky British dude's name? Yeah, Russell Brand. Yeah. Anyway, he plays like an impromptu concert in that, and the song that he sings is basically, it's like, we gotta do something, we gotta do something. It's just basically like, that's all I could think of reading through the fucking thoughts and prayers post tonight from the political establishment. Yeah, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, different movie. But yeah, go look up that song that he sings. It's just like platitude, the song, we gotta do something. We gotta do something. It's, am I partaking in legal tobacco tonight? Is the Pope shit in the woods? I just saw a trailer about an action movie with the actor from Better Call Saul. Basically just taken with Better Call Saul. Oh my god, kill me now. What about the fact that it's almost always a white male between the age of 18 and 30? Talk about that. I mean, what do you want me to say about it? We live in an angsty fucking culture. And we live in a culture where a good significant chunk of people worship guns and rebellion like they're some kind of part of the Bible. And we live in a country that doesn't take mental health seriously or issues affecting young people seriously. And we live in a country that works to beat people down from the very moment they step the toe into the work economy. I don't know what people expect. Why is it almost always that gender, race, and age? You got me, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I'm from Denver, and seeing 2 people shot in December that was almost robbed for Christmas presents at gunpoint, but caught the guy off guard. I have a concealed carry and protected myself and my family. Cool story, bro. Tell me another one. Tell me another one, bro. That was a great story. Can I hear another one? Tell me that one about how you single-handedly took down 14 armed Mossad agents with your bare hands, dude. Yeah, everyone clapped at the end, yeah. Obama came over to your house just so he could stand and clap for you. Yeah, I remember that. I remember this now. You're a national hero, sir. A lot of Billy badasses up in here tonight. Yeah, you got the Medal of Honor. They set up the first 2 million blowjob march for you, where they just lined people up, and each person had to give you one good suck as they walked by. I remember that. I gave you a little suck. One time I was crossing the border into Mexico. I got stopped by the cartels. I pulled a revolver, activated my dead eye, and shot all 50 of them. Holy shit, bro. That's crazy. They named a street after him. No, they named a city after him, dude. Is military service basically signing your life away to the state? Yes. I was wondering where are all the good guys with guns? Please, I need to know. Dude, they're there. They're there. Maybe if everybody had a gun, then nobody would ever need to use a gun. You ever think of that? My yard sounds very peaceful. It is. Where have all the cowboys gone? That's right, Train. I'm asking the same question you are. 3 billion Americans defend themselves with firearms yearly? Jesus Christ. That's like every firearm owner defending themselves like 28 times yearly. It's crazy. I will not be watching the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, and anybody after you that asks about it is going to get banned. I didn't watch the non-Jack Snyder cut, so I really, really don't care about the Jack Snyder cut. Little band happy tonight? Little band happy every night. Like, watch this. That's what I call band happy. Ejected. Hit that ejector seat too hard. Yeah. I don't know. I won't be reading them, Brewer. I won't be reading the thoughts and prayers posts. I can't hang with that shit no more. I can't hang with that shit no more. We live in a country who are like, we've been given too much of a fucking release valve, and we think that the internet is doing something, and all of us just weep about how horrible things are weekly together. It's become like a fucking like morbid ritual for people in the United States to get together and cry about something, whine about how things ought to be different, whine about the latest national tragedy, and then we all fucking forget, and we go back to doing things exactly as we always do them. All the fucking talking and all the tears and all the bullshit all funnels to the same place. Total and utter inaction, total and utter fucking just ineptitude. And cyclically, that's what we do. Thoughts and prayers. Oh my God, thoughts and prayers. Ooh, what is this scrumdiddlyumptious recipe? I want to know how to make elephant snowballs. Let's see. It's about the long and the short of it. were the best years of your life, or are you currently in them? I don't think I'm old enough to say. I don't think I'm old enough to say, dude. I'm only 40. I'm only halfway through. Like, I don't think I'm ready to go like, this is the best of my life. The best years of my life. I don't even know if I'll look back on things that way. My life has been an amazing struggle from the start. The forces that benefit from the status quo put a lot of effort into making people feel like they can't make a difference. Actually, they put a lot of effort into making people feel like they're making a difference when they're not. It would be one thing if the constant, message radiating from the status quo was you can't do anything, but it's not. It's you have a voice. You can be heard. Take this poll. Go to whitehouse.gov. Go to fucking Twitter and blow it up about how fucking awful this is. And you know what I mean? It's like voting. It's the same principle as voting. Oh, yeah. The plebs, they get pissed off if they think like there's actually no choice. So we've got to do this football thing back and forth. Give them a little release valve. They show up, they vote for somebody, they win or lose, but they feel like they had a say in it, And then we'll get back to business as usual. Where are those defense contracts? Let me just sign those real quick. The Game Grumps dude got canceled apparently. I don't follow who's getting canceled. I got to be honest with you. Who's getting canceled is like below the bottom of the barrel for me. I give a fuck. I really recommend you take on that same tact as well. What about my commentary on this made you think that I wanted like further explanation on it? I don't give a fuck. I don't know how to get that across to you. Somebody brings up a fucking topic and I go, I don't give a fuck. And then they go, yeah, he got canceled. You're like a little fucking robot. Unplug your brain from the internet, please. Did you hear the Game Grumps guy got canceled? I don't give a fuck. Yeah, anyway, he got canceled because... Like, did you short circuit or something? Parlez usted inglés? Maybe type before he heard your response. Shouldn't have typed before he heard my fucking response. That's on him. Angry Paul is the best Paul. Is he? Is he really? I tend to think of Angry Paul as the meanest Paul. Yep, to Crab Alley with you, sir. Think, then post. Think, then post. The more you know. No, I don't have a fire going. I don't know why. I mean, it's probably cold enough for a fire, but I just don't feel like starting one tonight. Feeling a little down in the mouth. Feeling a little bit down in the mouth. I don't know why. Just having a little run of the blues today. Does death scare you? No. Does death scare you? The act of dying scares me, but death is, I'm cool with death. It's the whole like transition from life to death that I'm afraid of. Edgy? Why is that edgy? Like, what's edgy about that? I wasn't like, I slit my wrists as Satan smiles. I cut myself to ease the pain. Like, that's edgy. Me just saying that, like, I'm not afraid of death, I'm afraid of dying. How's that edgy? Fuck, man. How is it that, like, 5 years on, I've been banning you motherfuckers and shitting on you motherfuckers, and I still got, like, a 15% cringe kid ratio in my audience? How's this happening? I feel like 10 to 15% of my usual audience, like, let's put it this way, they play Fortnite. They just wiped out Tomato Town. You know what I mean? 10 kills on the board right now. Just wiped out Tomato Town. Squeakers is what we call them, Colin. Squeakers. Is Fortnite still a thing? Yes. Yep, it is. What the fuck is Tomato Town? You got me. I don't know. It's something in Fortnite. It's something that you can wipe out in Fortnite, you know. What are you gonna do? Squeaker's gonna squeak. I've got to do some self neck rubbing right now, so you guys are just gonna have to watch me do that. Like I'm taking my thumbs and I'm pressing it right into that like occipital lobe or whatever, not occipital like joint, right where your neck and your skull connect. I carry so much fucking tension there. Oh. I'm in a bad mood today too. Today was one of those days, I gotta be honest with you guys, I wish I could have just fucking called in sick. I'm glad that everybody really liked the fucking video today, but I wish I could have just like called in depressed or whatever the fuck and just stayed in bed today. Just one of those tough days. I don't know what it is. Just one of those days that a girl goes through. Is it gonna show in the contento? I don't think so, bro. I think we made a really good show today. I think I was able to push through it, do my job today. Sorry I bothered you last night. Didn't mean to. I don't even remember it, Evan, so no worries there. I don't even remember what happened. So you were forgiven. I couldn't even tell you were sad. You did great. Well, that's good to hear. Push through the suck. You have to, especially with this job. Like I gotta be honest. Like that's one of the things about this job that is very different from, a 9 to 5 elsewhere. Is like on a day like this, assuming I had the days and shit. Typically, you can call in sick every once in a while and take a fucking day and just kind of like lay in bed. So I guess it's a good and a bad thing to have a job like this because it forces me to not do that. It's not necessarily the healthiest thing in the world to just lay in fucking bed all day. It's probably better that I got up and around and did some stuff and things and blah, 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 blah. Dude, that lizard is going to get stomped, bro. Enjoy the movie. I think I'm probably just going to watch it here on the old HBO Max. TJ is canonically dead, yes. Scotty and I are going to have to put together an elaborate voodoo ritual in the next show to resurrect him from the dead. And then I don't even know how we're going to get his arms back in the sockets because that's the last thing I heard was that both his arms ripped out of the sockets. And then he was mercilessly beaten with those arms. What do you think about the Stop Asian Hate hashtag that's going around? Not really a whole lot. I was laughing my butt off at work tonight. Thanks. Cool. I mean, I don't mean to like just skip over your $5 question, but I don't follow hashtags and shit usually. So I don't really have any thoughts. What happened to Chauncey? Chauncey lives with TJ. He's still there. There was a shooting in my city today. I guess COVID is over. Sucks. COVID's not over. COVID numbers are on the rise in 27 states as of today. Let me say that again. COVID numbers are on the rise in 27 states as of today. COVID's not over. Paul, you miss leaving the house. I usually get happy when I'm forced to get out of the house. I get out of the house pretty often, honestly. Like not tons and tons of times a week, but I get out of the house relatively often. It doesn't, I don't know, doesn't change much for me. We have less than 1/3 of the country with one vaccine dose administered. COVID is far from over. Yep. My mom and stepdad got their first dose today. And that's good. That's been a big worry on my mind, is getting them so they're one step closer. People that get into altercations with other people and use the "I'm a cough in your face" tactic need to be deleted from this life. They just need an Everett True. I saw this Twitter post of some prank some dudes were playing in like a public place in some other country. It looked like Poland or some shit. And they had to do one dude dressed like a cop and one dude with no mask on walking down, and he would walk in front of people. They'd walk by the same area, you know, and he'd walk in front of people. And when he was in front of somebody that didn't have a mask on, the cop would start whooping him and asking him, like, "Where the fuck is your mask?" And then the other people would be like, "Oh, shit." They'd put their masks on and shit. It's the goon with a tire iron principle, just proven. That would fix everything. I shit you not, like just one dude that just selectively whooped the fuck out of just a rando that wasn't masked up where they were supposed to be. Like, yeah, it's brutal, but that's all it would take. I don't think it was in India. It looked like it was like East European. It looked like it was like Eastern European. Do you think there would be a greater impetus / feeling of social responsibility to wear masks if we lived in decentralized communities? Maybe. Like if we lived in smaller communities where you were more likely to have a stake in the health of the local population, more likely to know the people that lived near you and be aware of their presence rather than in these huge conglomerations of anonymous people. Yeah, maybe. I also think that the impetus to wear masks would be higher if there was a goon with a tire iron standing around, too. Oh no, dude. I know. People, it happened at the beginning of the goddamn fucking pandemic as well. Spring break happened. Fucking Mardi Gras happened. It's just ridiculous. Like people don't understand. I saw yet another, like there are these New Zealand / other few countries that did a good job flex posts, and there was this video taken today or yesterday of New Zealanders all bunched up at this awesome looking fucking rock festival, having a fucking blast, jumping around in the sun and singing along with the songs and shit. And it was like captioned with "This could have been us." And it's just like, true. But the stupid is too strong here. find it kind of weird that people trust police as an institution when they literally enforce laws the next day which outlaw your existence. Huh? I don't know. Dude, I don't know if I'm going to be able to peel back the onion of this fucking COVID shit again. I just don't want to do it anymore, man. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm sorry. Maybe on another night, I could fucking just sit and talk about how stupid people are about COVID for a fucking hour, but I just want it to be over. I just wish it was over. It makes me so fucking sad to see people getting together and having a good time in places that had sane fucking laws that were enacted immediately that saved themselves from the worst of this. It breaks my heart how many people lost people to this unnecessarily, and it's just a fucking heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching thing with no answer to it, with nothing you can do to stop it. And that's all there is to it. I don't know what you want me to say beyond that. I feel like I've talked and talked and talked about this shit for a fucking year. I remember people were fucking on us at the beginning of this because we decided to start doing the show remotely. And there were not tons, but there were a strong contingent of our audience that were like, man, the fucking show sucks now, fucking stupid, blah, 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 blah. And here we are a fucking year later, plus. And I've been talking about it every fucking week, every week, sometimes twice, 3, 5, 10 times a fucking week, every week. I'm on the phone with my family and we're talking about it. I'm doing a show on Wednesday and we're talking about it. We're doing a show where it comes up on Thursday and I talk about it. And then my girlfriend brings something, or my wife brings something up and we talk about it. And then fucking Dinor looks at me in a certain way and he and I talk about it. It just is what it is, dude. I'm sorry to hear that about Bubba, man. I hope he gets better. I mean, I don't fucking blame you, Zach. I've just stopped caring. I take my precautions when I go out, but I'm done hiding inside when it feels like only 20% of Americans are doing it and suffering social isolation while COVID still rampages. I'm in the same fucking boat, dude. Like, I go out now, like, not all the fucking time, but it's just like I'm not in a position. Like, I spent probably the first 6 months of this COVID shit utterly locked down. And in the last couple of months, I've just been like, fuck it. I'm going to go do things. And it's been fucking terrifying for me. But what are you going to do? I'll let you guys get it out of your system because it's out of mine. I'll just shut the fuck up until you've got it out of your system because I don't know how long we're going to sit around and fucking commiserate about how much it sucks to live in this world. Especially on this fucking topic, this COVID shit. Probably for fucking years. I'm probably going to have to be hearing this shit for fucking years. I understand. It's not on you guys. I'm taking it out on you guys, but it really isn't on you. It's just I'm so fucking tired of hearing it. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of hearing everybody's little personal. This is what I do for COVID. This is what I do for COVID. This is how it's affected me. This is blah blah. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just so fucking sick of hearing it. I've just been fucking absolutely worn down by it for a year, and I'm just done. I want to go get my shots, and I want to just be done. And I know that it's not that simple. Me getting my shots doesn't end COVID. No, it is what it is, man. I'm not gonna order 66 because I understand where it's coming from, and people are locked in, and not if they're not locked in, they're socially isolated and they're feeling fucking raw about it, and you know, it's not like they're spamming or being shitty about it. It's just something I just fucking like am not prepared to talk about at length tonight. I'm just not. I gotta save a little skosh of that for, this Wednesday when we're definitely gonna have to cover it. Paul, your shows and streams have really helped this last year. Well, I hope so. They haven't always been very rosy, have they, though? So that was something at the very beginning of this I thought I'm gonna really try to do, and I just fucking it didn't work out. I was like, I don't want to be a source of negativity for people, but it seems like that's what I'm best at. So I naturally drift towards that pessimistic bent. Cactus Jack, you're about to get fucking slapped. It's a fucked up paradigm because you can look at life in so many different ways, and it's so hard to let people know you feel one way about the world while simultaneously feeling some other way about the world. For example, I'll sometimes sit out here in the morning and just sip a cup of coffee and listen to the sounds of the world waking up, watch that beautiful sunrise, and listen to the wind blow through these big old trees behind me. And I'll have these beautiful moments of peace and tranquility in that. And then sometimes I'm so fucking overwrought with worry that I can't see anything else. And none of that stuff means a fuck. It's two kind of worldviews that are at odds with one another, or at least seemingly so. But I see it all in the world. It all depends on your perspective. And some people are locked into one perspective on the world. And I'm not, I see the world from as many different perspectives as I can handle. I try and stop and smell the roses because that's something that I forgot to do in my life for a long time. And I've only been better for that. But it requires me seeing the world as something different than I usually see the world as to really appreciate it. You hate your negative worldview. Why? I mean, do we really fucking deserve it? The mob and the individual are two different things, and it's hard for us to separate that. It's very easy to look at a mass conglomeration of people and go, that's the stupids. It's very hard to sit down one-on-one with those people. And I'm not even just talking about the threat of violence. I'm talking about actually judgmentally sitting down one-on-one with a person and hearing their story and being that level of judgmental. It's like Derek Jensen says, if I look at a tree and I see dollar bills, I'll treat it one way. If I look at a tree and I see that it's a tree, I'll treat it another way still. And if I look at a tree and I see that particular individual tree and I look at it that way, I'll see it differently still. Human beings are very much that way. I used to call myself a misanthrope unironically. That was pretty lame, and frankly, it's a rather lazy outlook. I don't know about that. I mean, you know, I have feelings of misanthropy from time to time, but I at the same time reconcile those feelings by reminding myself of the deep connection that I have with every other human being on this planet, no matter how reprehensible that I think that they might be, no matter how distant I may feel that they may be from me. I am cousin to every other human being on this planet. And we share a fate, we share a thread of time together. All of us that are here together on this planet at the same time share a thread of time together. There's no changing that. There's no denying it. And so that's how I choose to look at humanity in a broader sense. And then outside of that, in order to keep my overwhelming pessimism about the human condition under control, I try my very best outside of that broader familial, we're all on the same sinking boat feeling. I try my very best to look at people only as individuals and to judge them on their individual merit. Those are the only two perspectives on humanity that I can hang with. No. Oh wait, I think he is out here. No, wait, did I put him in? I'm pretty sure I put him in. Oh, dirty D. Hey, Paul, your cynicism hasn't detracted from the streams last year, for me at least. I can relate to the pessimism. Keep being you, bro. Have a 50. Don't mean to derail the random stream. Question, though, which faction do you play on Warhammer Total War? I play 2, and I love playing Chaos in Warhammer. That's really like, because of the mechanics, it's really the only like faction that I can play really well, because they have a streamlined and simplified mechanic. So I love playing Chaos. Thank you, by the way, for the kind contribution. That was very nice of you. I'm sorry I forgot to say that. We were talking about how to reconcile, like, how how there are people out there that are just incredibly stupid and self-destructive, and how do we not allow those people to splash their paint on the entirety of humanity? Like, how do we not let ourselves be dragged into that myopic hole where the only people there are the people that are bad? And how do we force ourselves to look at ourselves for what we are, which is cousins on this planet? That's a very, very deep and important thing to me. And I don't know if it rises beyond the level of just amusing, but to me, it's more than just musing. To me, it's a fundamental part of the way we work and the way we should work. I'm going to allow myself the use of should, even though I hate it. It's that old hippie thing. It's like, what about peace, love, and understanding? What about those things? Because I can show my wife that. She can show me that. I can see a stranger in need of aid, and I can stop and help that stranger. I can have that happen to me. We're capable of compassion no matter where a person stands in our lives, but it just doesn't dominate. Why? Why are we able to look at one of us in need, not even know who that person is, and feel an impetus to put your hand out and help that person, and at the same time hate one another so? I don't know.
Like AJ was saying, the show we just watched.
Yeah. What's the point? What's the point of it all? You honestly don't hate anyone. I bet you've acted hateful towards a lot of people, though. I'm not trying to judge you. I have too. And I'd say the same thing about myself, too. I don't hate anyone, but I've been hateful. And I've engendered hate in other people. So I can't be a hypocrite and say that I'm not a hateful person sometimes. We're told individualism is more important than the whole. We should care for ourselves, but we need to realize the best way to do so is by helping our fellow man. I mean, there has to be self-care involved too. See, this is why everything has to change for human beings. And this is what I feel is at the root of a lot of our maladaptation and a lot of our psychological problems as they've developed over the last couple of centuries. I think the root of it all is that there's not a time for either of those things really anymore. Self-care, really genuinely caring for other people. I think many human beings on this planet exist in areas where they don't have time for any of that. It's toil and it's struggle and it's strife and it's death. And that's so fucking depressing. That with all of our riches and all of the billionaires, that we can't lift up the rest of humanity. And see, it's not that we can't, it's that we won't. And how do you rectify that? How do you rectify living in a society that produces so much fucking wealth that it could lift up every impoverished child in this fucking world and put food in their mouths and a roof over their heads, but decides not to. Ribbit indeed.
These frogs don't hate. They're a little community.
For what it's worth, yeah.
They warn each other when shit's going down.
I mean, there's a number of fucking animals that exist in mostly solitary lives, but human beings ain't one of them. Human beings are a remarkably social primate, and we need one another. We have the power in this nation to lift up those people that are oppressed in other nations. We just choose not to. We choose to bomb those people instead. We choose to oppress those people instead, profit off of the backs of those people, and dump the detritus of our fucking civilization on their heads and in their waters and in their oceans. That's what we do to those people.
We have enough food for everyone.
We have more than enough food for everyone. Not a single human mouth need go hungry on this planet. Not a single human head need go uncovered with shelter on this planet. Anybody that tells you that that is impossible doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. There is so much wealth and so much ingenuity locked behind the door of capitalism and turned into an endless money printer when it could be turned into shelter for every man, woman, and child on this fucking planet. You see?
It's like we can ship cobalt from the mines, but we can't send anything back.
And it's like, why? I've seen it, Chelsea. I come from a fucking place where there are just empty buildings and a whole just rotten downtown, and it's also a place that happens to grow like 90% of the produce that America eats and exports. And I've watched fields and fields of citrus just go to rot because the government paid that farmer to keep their oranges off the market so the price of oranges could stay up.
They do that with everything. They do it with milk. They do it with corn.
Dumping milk in the fields, cutting down corn and making fucking compost out of it. Cops guarding the fucking dumpsters so that people don't pick. Makes you think, don't it? See, there was a mass movement of people in the 60s called hippies by a lot of people. But of course, the hippie movement and the civil rights movement were fundamentally intertwined, and so it was not a single issue movement. But one thing that both sides of that movement, both the civil rights movement and the hippie anti-war movement, one thing that they shared was this idea that I've been talking about with you guys for the last 20 minutes, which is peace, love, and understanding. As trite and silly as that sounds, that was core to both of these movements, was that human beings can live together, that we don't have to kill one another, that we don't have to live in enmity and strife. And that is why these movements are so maligned these days and were put down so fucking brutally. Because that message means that the fucking vampires can't hoard their billions anymore. Because when they do that, people starve on this planet. That means the vampires can't fucking profit on the makings of bombs and ammunition and landmines and jets anymore. Because there isn't a need for it.
Some more water, sweetie.
If you don't mind, baby. Thank you. Who's talking about it anymore, though? Honestly. Who's talking about peace anymore? Honestly. In the media, amongst the talking heads, amongst BreadTube, is there really anybody that's talking about peace anymore? Or have we just accepted what a fucking meat grinder this country is in other places? On the left. Who's talking about peace? Give peace a chance, yeah. Thank you, baby. Got one of those hard ciders, huh?
Yep.
I've been eyeballing those.
Yeah, I got 2 left.
I might suck one down.
You want me
I don't
to
know.
get you one?
No, I don't know if I'm in the mood tonight.
Okay.
I don't know if pouring like alcohol on top of this depression is a good idea.
I just kind of hit you.
I've just been poopy all day. Like I kind of told them, I mean, I've been so fucking busy today, and you saw how I slept.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saying at the beginning of the stream, like this is one of those days. Like if I had a normal 9 to 5 blue collar type of job, I'd have been like, I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna come in. Then I just would have thrown my blanket over my fucking head.
I don't know. I've been kind of busy today too.
I'm just saying we've both been, you know what I mean, and that's a good thing. I was telling at the beginning of this, I said that's a good thing because it like having this type of job was an impetus. Like I got other people that count on me, and I'm the only person that they count on, and so it's like I gotta fucking go. You know what I mean? Like there's not another Paul standing by that can sit there. You know, I have to go be Paul, and so that's good for me. You know. Because it forced me into a position of getting out of bed and fucking doing something today. But, yeah. I'm pretty sure I know what the genesis of it is. I'm old enough now, and I've dealt with my depression for long enough to know that it, like my anxiety, has triggers. I'm not always able to zero in on them, but I've got a pretty good idea what's going on. And I think you probably know, too. But what are you going to do? What can you do? Good old Tony Soprano philosophy right there.
Yep.
What are you going to do?
He's been saying that like every episode lately.
I think he says it like at least like fucking 24 times a season all throughout it. And there's something to that, you know? That's a very, like, if you boil down, what are you going to do? That's a very, like, stoic / pessimistic outlook on the world. Boiled down to kind of like a throwaway line. What are you gonna do? Healing this country will require force. I don't think we can do it peacefully. The elite have too much power. I don't know what it's going to require, dude. You seem to have some kind of game plan in mind. There's no force that we can exert that they can't multiply by 1,000 and sling right back at us. So common for one who brings so much joy to the world to feel so little of it. I hope it passes quickly, Paul. Well, I appreciate that, friend. Thank you. It will. You know, it won't linger for long in my life, but it'll always come back. That's just the way it goes. That's the cycle. There are a lot of ideas on the fringes that take into account what I'm talking about, but they're looked at as quackery and kookery because they involve upending the current paradigm and upending what we think of as, you know, the earth and remaking it. And people think that that's impossible. I don't think it's impossible. I just think it's improbable. But there are plenty of thinkers. Jacques Fresco is one that you can look into. He's very into the idea of a green, ecology-based, resource-based economy that would change the planet into something that worked for human beings and not something that human beings had to work for. I don't know. The whole military revolution solution, it doesn't work. It's stupid. It dies in its cradle. It just isn't France anymore. You know, it's not fucking France in the 1700s anymore. They've got nukes, they've got jets, they've got fucking laser-guided Hellfire missiles and drones that can destroy your whole fucking block from 2 miles up. APCs and soldiers that are willing to do whatever they're fucking told. And we got none of that. We got some guns, and it just makes no sense.
I mean, like, they could easily say the first stronghold is a cult, like Heaven's Gate or something, even though it isn't.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what we could do. If every man, woman, and child in this fucking country walked out of their houses, made their way to Washington, D.C., and besieged that motherfucker peacefully, we could make some actual substantive change with direct action. But it would require, like, all of us. Everybody, no excuses. You do what you have to do. You get there. You make your way there. You help people get there if you have the means. And we get it done. Too bad we aren't hive-minded. I'm not talking about being a hive mind. I'm talking about agreeing on 2 or 3 fundamental issues. We want an end to war. We want an end to violence against our own people in the streets. And we want health care as a guaranteed right of living here, period. And we're not leaving. The power in that would be fucking unmistakable. And I'm probably way overstating it. It wouldn't take everybody. 30, 40, 50% of the fucking country. Think about it. It would be unprecedented. Unprecedented and impossible to ignore.
Like, even just 5 million, like, that's a really small percentage, but, like, if you actually got 5 million people in one place.
What if you got 20? What if you got 20 million people in one place? You can't ignore
that's still
that.
Not much. Out of, like, 350 million, like...
You could move a mountain with that many people in this fucking country. But it would require us to stop with the sniping and stop with the bullshit and stop with the asking and hoping and long game betting and start with the demanding. 3 million would be enormous. I'm talking about blowing away enormous. Because there are enough people in this fucking country where we could absolutely destroy enormous. 20 million people descend on Washington, D.C. Refuse to leave until their problems are addressed. And then what? They roll the tanks on us in front of the world? They bomb us in front of the world?
That's why you're saying DC, like, get your ass as close to the center of power as possible.
Yep. That's what the fucking hippies did. They didn't fucking conglomerate in Kansas or some shit. They went to Washington, D.C., and they packed that motherfucker out. Occupy Wall Street had this fucking idea a number of years ago, and say what you want about the fucking effectiveness of that. If more people had showed up, might have gotten something done. This is what I'm talking about. Is there anybody else that's talking about this? Because this is what we need. An immediate redress of these problems, not an incremental fucking maybe towards it every fucking 2 to 4 years. We need it now.
Like, it's done it to at least some limited degrees, like the March on Selma and shit. I don't know how many people exactly were involved in that, but...
I mean, marches and demonstrations have been shown to work in the past, but I'm talking about something more than a march or a demonstration.
Well, I just mean like that's a touchstone to...
No, absolutely.
It, yeah.
It shows you the power of people, and that's all peacefulness. That's people just moving themselves in a direction. They can't stop you. They won't stop you. Nobody talks about this. Why? Needs to be talked about more. Needs to be done. Doesn't need to be talked about more. Well, I guess it needs to be talked about more before it can be done, but it needs to be fucking done.
You've talked about post-political. You got to keep it simple for people to unite.
Yep.
You can't make it super complicated.
Nope. Hold on 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Duh. All right, anyway. We back.
Everything's Gucci on what we're dealing with before, so
Okay.
It shouldn't be anything.
Okie doke. We need a human rights movement, not a civil rights movement. We need an absolute human rights movement in this country. That includes the way that our multinationals treat people in the third world. That includes our wars. We need to demand an end to it, period. We need a human rights movement in this country, period. Our country's too focused on culture war issues. Humans are atomized, and there's no indication it'll change. I mean, okay. I had someone tell me we have to stay in the Middle East because if we leave, people will die. Meanwhile, people are already dying there. The reason that people will die if we leave in the Middle East is because of the power vacuum that we created when we invaded the Middle East. Right now, what's going on is Joe Biden launched missiles into Syria to defend troops in Iraq. So, to defend ourselves against a country that we invaded, Syria, in a country that we also invaded, Iraq. How is that a defensive maneuver again?
Dude, I don't know if you remember, like, the propaganda for Syria was huge.
Of course it is. It always is for war. It always is.
And, like, that was when social media was still kicking up, so they made it look fucking organic when it wasn't.
And there's always an excuse for why we need to drop bombs on people again. There's always an excuse for why that's our best bet. There's always an excuse for why we can't just leave. There's always an excuse for why we can't humanely transfer power. Do you know that the Iraqi sovereign government voted that the United States military leave their country completely? Like 3 years ago, and we haven't yet? So the bases that we're defending against attack from the country that we invaded are on a sovereign nation soil that has voted to not have us there. So in violation of international law. Whoops!
It's cheaper to not solve it completely. It's cheaper to do all these band-aids in a row.
It's cheaper if it never ends. That's what it is, because it continues to generate revenue.
That's what I mean, like cheaper as in like more profitable
Right.
for them. Like it costs them if it was immediately solved.
Because we would just have to send money over there to help, and resources that were actually meant to help the people. And we would have to do what we could to fix the problem over there, beyond just installing a puppet government and then not listening to it when it votes us out of the fucking country. You know what I mean? It would mean we would actually have to put our money where our mouth was and start lifting people in those countries up instead of bombing them down. And we make a ton of money bombing them down. Do you know how many people got filthy fuck rich on 9/11? Quite a few of them probably didn't even know it yet. But in the ensuing years, so many people got filth fuck rich on that war. You think that titty is ever going to dry up or be allowed to dry up now that they know that we'll accept 20, 30 years of war? Proxy wars, yep. And see, a lot of this stuff, dude, like war has just become passe. And I understand it's because a whole ass generation of people have been born during it. Like, they don't remember the last time America wasn't involved in a major military operation in some country, at least one country. And it's just kind of accepted. Like, back when I was younger, when we sent troops somewhere, everybody was impacted by it. It was a fucking hot, contested issue everywhere. Now we don't even, I don't even think you could pull the average person off the street and ask them. Then I don't even know if I know all the fucking countries we're currently doing military operations in. It's become part of how we do business, and that's how this works. I talked a little bit about it with Jamie Darkey on her stream, the ratchet effect of lesser of two evils voting. If you go look up the ratchet effect, you'll probably find a lot of economic theory, but it works as political theory too. And what's been happening in the United States for about, 100 years is that the political right gets into power, shifts everything to the right, and then the left comes along and shifts everything to the left, but not quite back all the way. And then they lose, and then somebody comes, and then the right gets in power, shifts everything to the right, and then the left comes along, and they shift it back to the left, but not quite all the way. So a good example of this, Donald Trump lowered the corporate tax rate to 21%. Joe Biden comes along and goes, we're undoing those Trump tax cuts. Raise it up to 28%, Jack. Well, before Trump, it was 35%. The ratchet effect. This is why you don't keep electing Joe Biden. This is why we start talking about something outside of electoralism, because it ain't working. It ain't it, Jack. That's how the Overton window got moved so far to the right. The ratchet effect. Oh, right wing. Left wing. Back to the left. Right wing. Left wing. Back to the left. Right wing. Left wing. Back to the left.
You're not talking about social issues. Like, that's the other one that they let you look at. It's like, oh, look at how fast this one's spinning. See?
Yep. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah, Nick. All that money's going to trickle down. Any day now, it's going to trickle. You made it here live again. Well, welcome back live. Yeah, the wheel of social progress is moving just fine, but in every other aspect of your life, you're being ratcheted down. You're watching billionaires get tax cuts. You don't think that's what they looked at that as? They got a little tax break during Trump, and then, oh yeah, let us put it back to 28%. So the next time the guy gets in, it can go down to like 17. And we'll take it back to 21, and pretty soon he'll be paying nothing. Like, what do you not see the game plan? The effective tax rate when I was born in this country was something like 90%. Like the top tax bracket. Now there's not even a tax bracket that approaches 90%. Weren't gas prices like that? Absolutely. Gas prices are another great example of the ratchet effect. Gas is 50 cents a gallon. Holy shit, it went up to 75 cents a gallon. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Went back down to 60 cents a gallon. We're fine. Holy fuck, it went up to 80 cents a gallon. Oh my God. Wait a minute. It went down to 70 cents a gallon. We're fine. Holy shit, it's $1 a gallon. That's fucking insane. I never thought I'd see that in my life. $1 a gallon gas. Wait a minute. Went down to 85 cents. We're fine. Dodged another bullet. Holy, and then now look. $6.50, $7 a gallon. What do you think? And what is that in aid of? Who benefited from that? Did you?
Like they sit on their fucking barrels like jewelers sit on diamonds.
They manipulate the whole fucking marketplace and decide what they're going to charge and collude with one another. There's so few of these fucking giant oil and gas companies in the United States now. There's no doubt they're in collusion over prices. They just decide it's going to cost this, it's going to cost this, it's going to cost this, it's going to cost this. And they've ratcheted us to the point where I don't even remember what to feel now
like
when I look at the
$3.50 or something. Right.
Yep. Wages, though, functionally flat. Cost of living, flat. Or sorry, cost of living increases flat. Cost of living.
And like going back to the gas, it's like they've got such a big stake now that like the Dow Jones takes a dip if oil takes a dip.
I mean, the Dow Jones, I don't even know, dude. The whole fucking American economic system at that level is a giant fucking house of cards, blowing and tipping in the wind. And everybody's partying like it's 1999 up in there. And it's about to fucking fall. It's like there's no better time than now for us to really start organizing a social movement that is about shutting it down peacefully. Going to the seat of power and making our demands and extracting those demands. And not leaving until we get them. Starving if we have to. Freezing if we got to. We stay. Eyes the world will be on that.
I mean, at that point, you'd probably have like some looting of like basic necessities.
I mean, if it happens, it happens. As long as there's no violence. I don't see people taking basic necessities from fucking conglomerate stores nearby as violence, so I'm fine with that. Let them use that as the reason why they send the troops against us, because that's really like what you have to risk when you're talking about a social movement like this. They send in the fucking hit squad to start beating on you and break up the fucking protest, and you've got to stand there and take it. All 2 million. Yeah, that's why Martin Luther King preached nonviolence so much. It's the let them do it to you principle. The image of that violence being done to you as you pose no threat and you have your hands in the air is way more powerful than the image of you throwing a punch at a police officer. So you got to be willing to go down there and get your fucking head cracked. Because the image of that and the conglomeration of that happening to you and the rest of you that are there is far more powerful than the image of you throwing a brick through a fucking shop window. Everybody says there's no way to do it peacefully. I disagree. I got to be honest with you, this could be accomplished with just a movement of young people. There are more young people unemployed right now than at any time in recent fucking history. Just young people alone could make this happen. The hippie movement was mostly young people. It's just the way it is, dude. You see America's best and brightest minds lined up and demanding that things change. Send the cops against that. Too bad a lot of woke people hate Martin Luther King Jr. Where's your head at, dude? Like, are you so poisoned by the Twitter narrative that you can't fucking think about this idea without talking about some fucking Twitter wokeness? Unplug for a second, bro, and start thinking like a human being. What do we have to lose? Everything. What do we have to gain? Everything. You guys are just gonna have to deal with my pauses and my quietness tonight. I'm gonna tune in on the frogs every once in a while when I want to. I'm gonna listen to them. Just got here. I guess I gotta back this one up a bit. Was that Rodney? Rodney up in the motherfucking house with a fat dick for that motherfucking mouth. I miss the days when BK was our biggest nemesis. I miss the days when you were banned. BK was never your biggest nemesis, you fucking idiot.
Fucking hour.
What?
Just use an hour.
Yep. The fucking diddle economy, man. Gotta be torn down. Well, see, most people, like, here's the thing, Andrew. Most people get assimilated out of high school. And it happened to me, too, to a certain extent. Most people come out of high school with a deep desire to succeed in the machine, because that's what the high school level education prepares you for. In fact, that's what your entire public education is preparing you for. Taking orders and following orders and doing tasks as you're told, and you're so fucking hot to trot to enter that fucking world that you do. Whether you go to college or not, you find your little niche in that and you become protective of it because it's yours, because you worked hard for it. And you forget that it came at the cost of your autonomy, came at the cost of your freedom, came at the cost of your time and your body and your mental health. So
Think of how many like assignments schools do that have 0 point to anything, just to teach you how to suck it up and do shit.
yep. I mean, like, you guys probably remember these assignments. These, like, go home and copy shit over and over again, or go write a fucking, like, paragraph or two about this. That's not to teach you fucking anything. It's to get you used to fucking doing rote work because you were told. George Carlin talked about it, you know. Educational system doesn't want free thinkers, it wants obedient workers. And we've got to engender somehow in people a free thinking mentality. We've got to get people to start thinking about the human condition beyond the scope of their lives, and start looking around and taking responsibility personally for what's going on in the fucking world, and then deciding to fix it. And that's a fucking tough hill to climb. And that's why you saw all your fucking high school friends turn into soccer moms and
Wine moms
and fucking craft beer dads, you know? Capitalism is better than socialism, communism. Thanks, John Zapper, for the $1.99. Oh, wow. Double edge to that comment, huh? Capitalism and pro-capitalism all wrapped up into one. Great bait, yeah. Great bait went right in my pocket. That's why I dropped out and got my GED as soon as I could. Looks like skipping college wasn't the worst decision. It isn't for a lot of people. College is not for fucking everybody. And is this the same Paul from DFF or a clone? Here, I'll prove that it's the same Paul from DFF. You're fucking banned. There you go. Now you know. Unfortunately, you're banned to the fucking netherverse. Paul, I'm a teaching assistant in grad school. The entire grading system is problematic for a number of reasons. It's highly subjective, and my experience grading assignments has shown me that, of course. Capitalism is feudalism with extra steps. Communism and socialism might not be the answer, but this ain't it, Chief. Agreed. Agreed. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, this has been a long one. I'm going to end it. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.